Hello everyone. I've been working on a game engine for almost the past year or so, and have only recently figured out how to streamline development. What I mean by that is before you had to clone and compile the project yourself, but now you can use the Meson build system and its package manager, RapDB, to install and compile it for you, no matter what platform or compiler you have. Here's the documentation website. You have the homepage. If you want to join the Discord, ask me for help. We got the installation, getting started, which has a good sample script, and that's what I'm going to use today. Tutorials, it's currently empty, but once this is posted, I'm going to put it in here. And of course, the API reference for everything that is featured within the game engine. So let's just start with installing the game engine. And this is for people who already know Meson and have experience in C++, so I won't be going too in depth with that. As you can see, I have my main.cpp file with an example hello world script, as well as my meson.build file. Very simple, just the project name, language that I'm writing in, and the executable name, as well as the source files. So I'm going to begin with creating a folder called subprojects. And this is what you always want to do when adding dependencies to your meson.build file. We want to go into our terminal, which is on the parent directory. Do not go into subprojects, and write meson rap install. And the name of this rap is going to be Kraken Engine. So once that's installed, you can now see that Kraken Engine.rap is under subprojects. And once that is done, you can really just add the dependency into this meson.build file. So I'll name this variable Kraken_dep for dependency and set that equal to dependency. And as a string, I'm going to write the name of the rap. So Kraken Engine. As a third argument inside of executable, I'm going to target the dependencies keyword argument and then give it the Kraken dep variable. So this is all you need in order to start writing with Kraken. In the terminal, I'm going to set up my Meson build system within a folder called build. So Meson setup build. All right. And as you can see, we have the Kraken Engine as well as all of its dependencies within it, which I use pretty much all of SDL2. And let me go into the build folder. And this is where we're going to compile the project. Because at the moment, all we did was tell the compiler how to read our program and how to compile it. But we actually have to compile it now. The way to do that is Meson compile. And I like to do -j and however many threads I want to use at a time to compile. My CPU has 16 threads, so I'm going to go for 12. Okay, so now that the app is created, you can write /app and you'll see that hello world is printed. That's because that's what this code does. However, we actually have to use the Kraken engine, of course. So I'm going to replace IOStream with Kraken engine.hpp. And within main, I will initialize Kraken engine, which means initializing all of the SDL2 dependencies, as well as create the window. So the way to do that is kn window init. And you're going to pass an array of 2 numbers. And I'll set a resolution of 800 by 600. The next thing you need is to pretty much just cap the frame rate. That's with the namespace time clock object. So I'll just instantiate an object from that. And you'll notice a lot of similarities between this and Pygame. I took a lot of inspiration from there, as well as a lot of inspiration from Godot. And the more you work with Kraken Engine, the more you'll see the similarities between both. Now we just got to make the usual while loop. So I'll just write bool done equals false. And then while not done, this is the line that's going to cap the frame rate, and it's clock.tick. And in Pygame, this would return you the time between the last frame in milliseconds. I just decided to return it in seconds. That's because most of the time, if not always, you're going to need it in seconds anyway. And if you hover over tick, you'll see that there's an optional parameter, set default to 60. This is 60 FPS. I'll leave it at that. Or if you have a higher refresh rate monitor like I do, you could write 240, who knows. And now this is the event loop. So for const auto reference event in kn window get events. So this get events function is going to return us all the events from keystrokes to mouse clicks. Everything that is in STL2 is in Kraken Engine. So if you know that, you know this. And in this for loop, I'm going to check if the user presses the X button on the window. If event.type is equal to kn constant quit, then I'm going to set done to true. And this is going to exit us from this while loop whenever the X button is clicked on the window. Now we have a way to escape the loop and close the program. Now there's two last lines within this loop that we need, and it's going to be KN window clear. And this is pretty much the equivalent to screen.fill in Pygame. If you hover over clear, you'll see there's an optional color argument, and I can show off that in a second. And the second line is flip. And this is actually going to flip the buffers. Without this, I don't even think the program would run. It would probably crash, but this flips the buffers and shows whatever you've been working on here onto the screen. And right before this return, I'm just going to write KN window quit. And this will uninitialize all of the SDL2 and all the events from the buffer or whatever. So this is the basic program for a window in Kraken. And if I just run inside of this build directory, mesin compile once more, successful build. And if I run app, there is an error. It's not showing here, but if I open the Explorer for this and run it, you'll see that it's asking about DLLs. The only way to fix this right now is to go into the build folder and subprojects. And if you drop down all these 4 SDL folders, you'll see that in here are the DLLs for SDL. What I did was just highlight them all and then drag them out next to the EXE. And you should be able to run the app now. And here is the empty window. But let's change the background. So inside of clear, you don't need to do RGBA. It could just be RGB. I'm going to do 100 on the red, 50 on the green, and 200 on the blue. Let me go ahead and compile this and then run app again. And now it is a purple looking background. So that's all I have for this video. If you run into any complications throughout this tutorial, leave a comment below, or you can join the Discord server that was on the documentation homepage. Thanks for checking this out, and I'll keep you posted. See ya.